the tallest thing humanity could ever build. About 10,000 years ago, in the hills of modern-day Turkey, our ancient ancestors built something extraordinary, the oldest known temple in the world. From that moment forward, humanity has been obsessed with reaching higher. For thousands of years, people have gazed up at the stars and dreamed, what if we could touch them? Every generation has pushed a little further, building taller and taller. But surely, there must be a limit, right? So here's the big question. What is the tallest thing we could ever possibly build? Let's start with something familiar. A one-story family home? That's about 4.5 meters tall. The tallest statue in the world today. 128 meters. Jump from the top of its head, not that I recommend it, and you'd be falling for 5.5 seconds. Slightly higher is the tallest roller coaster ever built at 139 meters. But even that can't beat something far older, the Great Pyramid of Giza. Completed around 2570 BC, it soared to 139 meters and held the record for the tallest human-made structure for an unbelievable 3,881 years. That record finally fell in the year 1311, when the Lincoln Cathedral in England rose to 160 meters. It was the tallest thing humans had ever made, until the Washington Monument in 1884 reached 169 meters. But the Real Revolution came just a few years later. The Eiffel Tower, at 301 meters, utterly dwarfed everything before it. And thanks to steel and iron, the floodgates were open. The Chrysler Building took the crown in 1930 at 319 meters. 1 year later, the Empire State Building smashed that record with 448 meters. But strangely enough, the next leap didn't come from a skyscraper. It came from a radio tower. In 1963, the Warsaw radio mast rose to 646 meters, the tallest thing humanity had ever built. It stood until 1991, when it collapsed, and its record held until 2008, when a new giant entered the scene. The Burj Khalifa in Dubai. At 830 meters tall, it's nearly twice the height of the Empire State Building. Climbing all the way up would mean walking 2,909 steps, or taking an elevator for 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Jump from the top, again, please don't, and you'd fall for 20 seconds before hitting the ground. The Burj Khalifa is incredible, but it's still nowhere near the true limit of what we could build today. If we wanted to, we could go much higher. Engineers have drawn up full blueprints for a megastructure called the Exceed 4000. Its height? 4 kilometers. That's taller than Mount Fuji, nearly half the height of Mount Everest. If you stack Toyota Corollas on top of each other, it would take 2,748 of them to match its size. The base would span 6 kilometers to support its colossal weight. Could house over 1 million people. And it would be so massive it might actually disrupt local weather patterns. The price tag? Somewhere between $479 billion and $1.4 trillion. More than the GDP of Russia. And here's the wild part. With today's technology, we could actually build it. Nothing physical is stopping us. Except money, logistics, and maybe a few zoning permits. But beyond even that, there's something more extreme, the space elevator. Imagine a structure stretching 100,000 kilometers above Earth, anchored to the surface, reaching far into space. The International Space Station orbits just a tiny fraction of that distance. At the top of the elevator, the speed from Earth's rotation would be so high you'd experience time dilation, just like astronauts do. Scott Kelly, for example, spent a year on the ISS and came back 0.01 seconds younger than his twin brother. It's not much, but it's real, measurable time travel. The only reason we don't have a space elevator yet is that no material exists that's both strong enough and light enough to build one. But if technology catches up, that could become the tallest structure humanity will ever build. From ancient pyramids to megacities in the sky, the story of human construction has always been about one thing: reaching higher than we ever have before. And maybe someday we won't just scrape the clouds. We'll touch the stars. I hope that you'll consider subscribing to my channel by clicking the like and subscribe button. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.